welcome back to casual mode. It's a bit of a different casual mode for you this week, gents and ladies and non-binary folk, anyone listening at home. My name's Ethan, and you might remember me from such reviews as Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles on Nintendo Switch, a excellent Asper remake re-release. You can tell by my droning bollocks that I'm not being mollycoddled this week by my great friends Dan and Carl, who are usually at the ones and twos on this in this recording virtual studio that I'm in now. So you'll have to bear with me if things sound bad, but you know the Nintendo Direct's just happened, and you know you've got to talk about it. We've got to talk about it. I think we're probably going to speak about our general thoughts on some of the other shows, which probably I think most people think were a bit better than this one. We'll probably speak about our general thoughts on that whenever we next record. But for now, I thought I reached out to my great friend Nathan, amazing goat in the Nintendo space, the poker freak, the poker maniac. Would you take the term poker freak and or poker maniac as a positive, given they are NPCs in the game, or are you seeing that as a derogatory term, Nathan?
So, 1 minute 30 into this podcast, it takes for you to introduce me, and the first thing you call me is a poker freak.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. I mean, I'll take it 100%. I've been called worse in my time, especially when it comes to Pokemon. And is this video or is this just audio?
This is both, I think. Yeah, you probably wouldn't have guessed that based on how I'm looking currently and what my backdrop is. I'm currently sat in the front room just to make sure my internet doesn't cut out.
Okay.
You've got your incredible setup behind you there. Many a trip to the Pokemon Center behind you there, which is great.
If this was audio only, I could maybe be like, yeah, I'm sort of into Pokemon, but video ones, no. It's
a bit of a giveaway,
pretty obvious
isn't it?
what's going on. It's borderline embarrassing because this, what I've got behind me is a little trundle bed which is covered in all of my Pokemon plush, and I've got them from all over the world. I've got like a little Honolulu Pikachu. I've got one from Tokyo. I've got one from New York. All of that. But this is like a working bed that every now and again when we have someone over, they stay on, and whenever that happens, what has to happen is me slowly but surely disassembling this for any mates that have come over and been like, yeah, no, it's no problem. I'll take them all off. I'll just put them back on afterwards. And they're like, are you sure that's okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's just my big pile of Pokemon teddies. Don't worry, I'll move them. So
what you'll have to do is get a that giant Snorlax like beanbag thing and just replace the entire bed with that, and then they can just sleep on that, and then you're feeding two birds with one scone there, aren't you?
I would genuinely love that. The amount of terrible Pokemon furniture merch I sent to my wife is unhinged. If I had more money, it would be genuinely dangerous.
Geodude coat hangers and all that. That was a thing in Japan, yes. Wasn't it?
Yep. Oh my god, don't start.
Yeah. How's life, Nathan? Culture decks, how's that going? All this different stuff. You were just saying to me before that that's what I was going to ask you was, this Nintendo Direct happened for us at 3 p.m. In the hours since then. It's now, 8:30. It's been a full-on for you, writing up all the information, waxing lyrical about Link.
It's been pretty good. So nowadays, anybody who hasn't caught up with me in a little while, I now work for What Culture Gaming. I run a YouTube channel called Culture Decks, which is all about Pokemon. And that is a freelance role, so as well as that, I'm also contributing to sites like Nintendo Life. I just finished the review for Nintendo Life this morning. I also contribute for GameSpot and IGN and Games Radar and a couple of other places, as well as some odd jobs for different clients and
is that on First Light? An odd. You said an odd job. Was that a piece on First Light?
It was not, because I haven't played that, and I would absolutely love to. So, yeah, it's been good. And today today's been a really fun but really busy one. I'm going to be planning some big videos for tomorrow, and talking about Pokopia is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm just happy I've got something to talk about for the next 6 months, because running a Pokemon-specific YouTube channel, when we launched it last October, felt brilliant. We had Legends on the way. We had the 30th anniversary. We're like, God, there's going to be so much. A little bit dry now. A little bit drier, so I'm happy we've got a couple of things to look forward to.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to go with the flow this episode, folks, and we could start there if you like. I mean, I was just saying to Nathan before we started recording that, there's a lot of games. I think for me in this direct that it was very sort of slow momentum, and maybe I'm a spoilt brat because when you look at the actual list of games that were featured here, there's a big list and there's a lot of good stuff in there, a lot of very good stuff in there. I just think the way that it was presented was pretty shit, and then by the time we read it, it's kind of just like okay, and then at the end, two massive announcements. So I think, very talented people such as Nathan and such as all these different people that write for all these different publications will have covered all of the list of games in depth, but I thought it would be fun, especially given my tendency to go off on a tangent. I think it would be good for us to just kind of jump between some of the things, our general thoughts, and then like some of the highlights. So you were just saying about Pokopia, which was the only appearance of Pokemon, I think, at that direct, wasn't it?
Yep.
Pokemon gets its own red carpet rolled out now, doesn't it? Really, with its own directs. But Pokopia, new update coming with underwater stuff. Does that mean more Pokemon that you can encounter, I guess? Also, that...
Yep, we saw a couple in the trailer.
Really? Which were the new...
I'm pretty sure it was Poplio. Is at least one of the ones we saw, and obviously it being underwater, I'm sure we're going to see lots of new water Pokemon, because that was one of the types that was missing a bit, as well as ice. There was no ice zone, so there wasn't a tremendous amount of ice Pokemon.
What about how do you feel about spoilers about that game? Is it kind of past we're kind of past that point now? We can speak about what's in the game at this point.
Yeah, the game came out 3 months ago. Yeah, we can absolutely give a warning, but we can talk about spoilers.
I've yet to play Pokopia. I've actually been through a dark spot with Pokemon at the moment, because I go through phases of just absolutely just doing 5 Nuzlockes in a row to just not just putting it away and moving on to my next type of fixation for a while and then coming back to it. So I'm actually yet to play ZA and yet to play Pokopia, but I'm definitely gonna get it. I'm just kind of not in the mood for that sort of Animal Crossing style game, so I always just think, like, when I'm up for it, there's no point trying to force a square peg in a round hole. I might as well just enjoy it when I'm up for it.
It's not an Animal Crossing style game though. It's
more
Dragon
Minecraft-y.
Quest Builders.
Dragon Quest Builders, yeah.
Dragon Quest Builders.
It's the same developer, isn't it?
It is indeed. Yes, it's Omega Force, who are a subsidiary of Koei Tecmo.
Yeah, so I did really enjoy Dragon Quest Builders. So I know I'm gonna like it. I'm just I'm waiting for that when I've got that sort of game itch that I wanna scratch.
It's so good, man. It's so good.
Yeah,
like I'm a huge Dragon Quest Builders fan. I'll go to bat for that game, and I've been for years I've been like, man, we're going to get Builders 3, and I really hope we do it at some point. Pokopia is just Builders 3. It's got it's a couple of things missing, but adds a couple of things. But that is the game that team, it feels like they were made to create. It's such a perfect sort of encapsulation of ideas, and it works so well with the Pokemon formula. And I'm happier that we've got that than a sort of straight down the line Animal Crossing-esque game with Pokemon, because I think this works better, like a building game with more options. But so obviously today we saw, as well as the quick update, there's going to be DLC down the line. There's going to be paid DLC, so we're going to be getting Pokopia content well into next year, including a new area and loads of new furniture. So I mean, you've got plenty of time to hop in. There's going to be lots of stuff to enjoy as it goes on.
Plenty of reasons to go back as well. That season pass you can buy now, but there's nothing to get from buying it now. Is that right? Usually they give you like a little cosmetic straight away, don't they? When you get something like that, like with this, was it Sword and Shield or Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet, when they had the DLC pass for those games, you'd get like a little costume or at least something for buying it out the gate. But I don't know about this one.
I think there might be another Ditto-based item, whether it's a wallpaper or something. Yeah. I was doing lots of writing today, so apologies if I missed that, but I'm pretty sure there is something. But yeah, otherwise, what's the incentive to get it today? I'll just wait.
That's it, yeah. And at the end, when the Koei Tecmo logo comes up, there was a weird shot of a creature in the ocean. I've seen Kyogre turns up in this game and has a bit of banter, and then like kind of just sits there and doesn't really do much. What is that thing at the end? Does he?
I think it was Manaphy, wasn't it?
Was it?
I haven't gone back through with a fine tooth comb, but I'm pretty sure it was Manaphy.
Right. Because that just kind of it almost looked like they were showing another game, and then it showed the Koei Tecmo logo, and obviously, like, you know, some people just kind of might think it was a different thing or whatever. But I thought that was quite interesting. All right. Well, why don't I'm just looking at this time. I'm just thinking to myself, you know, time's such a fleeting thing, and it passes so quickly when you're having such a good time. Nathan, fire me something. Pick out of this bag. Pick out this Bassett's. You know, all sorts of treats that we've got, and fire something else at me, and let's get this mother on the road.
Pokopia DLC was a big one for me, and right after that, in terms of announcements, for me personally, was Xenoblade. I am a Xenoblade sicko. I love those games. I remember reading about Operation Rainfall in an official Nintendo magazine back when I was a teenager. So I was one of those absolute goblins who bought Xenoblade on the Wii. I've got like the red controller still with the special edition.
Nice.
And ever since then, I've just been like, this is my RPG series. This is everything for me. And just seeing the Switch 2 editions is great. I don't know if they have the same sort of issues that they had with Xenoblade Chronicles X Switch 2 edition. I haven't looked at that. I'm sure that the lovely folks at GVG have either already done a video or are doing one as we speak comparing that. But the main thing was the announcement of Xenoblade Genesis, which is a brand new entry, which is also not part of any of the previous Xenoblade Chronicles lore, from what we know right now. It almost certainly is. I'm sure at the end there'll be some weird thing where they peek into another universe or whatever it is they do with those games. But it looks pretty cool. It looks much more fantasy focused. It's kind of got like Fire Emblem-esque models, or maybe even like a Genshin-esque. It's got a really cool style. It looks quite very, very full of colour and life, like a Xenoblade game is. And one of the things I really love about the Xenoblade games is they often really, really focus on the environment as part of the storytelling, whether it's like the Bionis and the Mechonis, or like the island worlds of Xenoblade 2. Like the world itself is always a huge part of that story and informs it. And this one with this planet with 6 suns and the gorgeous environment, I just can't wait to explore another world. There's no RPG where I get more excited about exploring the world itself as well as the RPG mechanics, and Xenoblade does that so well. So I'm pumped, man. Do you play Xenoblade? Are you feeling good?
I've always kind of wanted to play a Xenoblade game. I've never played them. I very nearly picked up is it Xenoblade Chronicles X or on Wii U when that came out, because that looked really good, and obviously it's one of the few Wii U games that was coming out. I've just never got around to it. I mean, I'm looking at the way that they're revealing and releasing these. I don't know, that box art's hype as well, isn't it? I remember like that one looking really good when it was coming out. I'm looking at the way that they're releasing these 3 games now as the Switch 2 versions. Obviously, you know, Xenoblade Chronicles 1 out now. Second one's coming July 30th. Third one's coming December 4th. I think that's a really interesting and smart way to release them. I've heard that obviously when the Switch 2 came out, Switch 1 games kind of get this. I don't think it was straight out the gate. It kind of varies, doesn't it? Some games get the Switch 2 boost version. Some of them just get sort of performance updates as of a couple of months ago or something like that.
So what that was, it was down to any game with an uncapped frame rate. So if the game was just like, look, the frame rate can go as high as it wants and performance will dictate that frame rate. On Switch 2, obviously that was given enough power that the frame rate would just go, all right, we're just 60 now. So some games got this automatic boost like Bayonetta 3 and some other ones out of the gate. Whereas, yes, you're right, they recently in a big update added handheld boost mode, which meant that if you played a game in handheld, it would run as if it was in docked. So it would make like the handheld version of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 run in the handheld version, so it was up, you know, things that were 1080p was suddenly or 720p was suddenly 1080 and stuff like that. So any Switch game can have the handheld boost.
And I saw a few people talking about how the way that it works, these original Xenoblade Chronicles, the first Xenoblade Chronicles, ends up looking better on the Switch 1 versus Switch 2 because of how that kind of worked. So with this version, you've got a really good way of playing it on the Switch 2. I guess I have no excuse now. It's just, why do we play games? To have fun and escape. And, if I'm looking at this and wanting to enjoy it, it's got to be in the right mood, haven't you guys? Don't feel bad if the game's not for you, but do feel good if the game is for you.
If you ever feel like them, play one. It's a masterpiece. Like it's genuinely a masterpiece.
Shulk's voice do be annoying me in Smash Brothers. Now I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know if that's just because I'm on the receiving end of his numerous bag of tricks with the Monado, his red blade.
It is the Monado, yeah.
Does the you mentioned the red Monado Wiimote, which I see that and raise you the Skyward Sword gold Wiimote, which I think is is royalty in the Wiimote world. Yeah, there you go. And he's desheathed it from the ugly white rubber condom as well, which is an elite gamer move, which is why we've got you on the podcast, Nathan. What was I going to say? Yes. Does the Monado Wiimote shout out things at you through the speaker? Do you remember that?
It does not, because it's the Pro Controller. It's like a...
Oh, yes, yeah. I thought you meant it was... I had in my mind like the Mario Red Wiimote, but you're talking about the...
No, it's this.
Right, okay.
So it plugs into the bottom of a Wiimote. This thing is absolutely banging. I don't know if it's worth any money nowadays. Not that I'd sell it, but yeah. It was so good, especially because I love the Wii controls. I'm still a huge fan of the Wiimote, the nunchuck, but actually having a proper controller for a couple of things was nice.
Yeah. What are you like with the Joy-Con and Joy-Con grip on the Switch 2? Because it's a little bit bigger than the Switch 1 Joy-Con and Joy-Con grip. I think my hands are starting to regret it now because I get really bad hand cramps now, but I've just always played with the Joy-Con and Joy-Con grip. I thought it was fine, especially with the new one now. It's all right for me. Like obviously the Pro Controller is really good, but just sitting on the couch playing, I think that's sufficient. Especially when you do the old split and you can just sit there. Like that was how the Wiimote and nunchuck felt quite liberating in that sense, because you could just kind of just sit there, couldn't you?
It's a case by case basis. Most of the time I'll use a Pro Controller. But also when in handheld, I don't like the weight or the feel of the Switch 2. I think it's an uncomfortable device.
Really?
So I'm hoping to get the cracked Nitro Deck 2, because that was a godsend on the original Switch.
Right.
Anyway, none of this is to do with the Direct. Anyway, come on, let's move on.
We've got you here. We need to question you on the things that matter. Let's talk about Star Fox next, because this is shaping up to be just we're talking about some of the core pillars here, and there's some good games in there. But with the amount that I'm rambling on, we'll just get to the main bits. Star Fox. What did you think? The Star Fox demo's out now. I've just downloaded it, not had the chance to play it. Looking forward to it. It's looking like it's the whole it's giving you the prologue section with James McCloud that we saw in the Star Fox Direct. What was your reaction to that announcement? Because a lot of mixed response to it, wasn't there, with the way that they look and things like that, especially coming off the back of the Fox appearance in the Mario Galaxy movie as well.
Yep. I mean, I'm sure you've seen my messages in a couple of our mutual Discords and chats where I'm warming to it, but my initial reaction was jarring. I do not like the visual style of the new Star Fox at all. I think graphically, visual fidelity, it looks incredible. It looks beautiful. But the actual design of them, they've got two realistic features. They look strange now, like the legs and everything. And you're right. The version of the whole Star Fox team in the Mario Maker movie, in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, both the CG one with Glenn Powell and then that sort of like 2D segment, a hand animated segment that introduces them, those are they're stunning. They're the best Foxes ever looked. So going from that to like, a Five Nights at Freddy's sort of animatronic version of Fox, I I am warming to it. I still do not like it, and I think it's vastly inferior to the two other designs we had just a couple of months prior to that announcement. But the game looks good, and I'm pumped to play Star Fox, and this is very clearly being used as a reintroduction of the series for new, younger gamers, and that is probably where it's going to work really well.
Yeah. I think most people are in the same boat, or I guess you should say R-Wing. Tune in weekly for the Casual Mode podcast, but I had the same sort of initial reaction, but I watched a YouTube video, and I like to come to my own conclusions and make my own thoughts on things, but in this particular instance I was I was lapping up this guy's ideas like a thirsty dog. The guy, a YouTuber Philip Hartshorn Gaming, Why You Were Wrong About the Star Fox Design, and I implore people to go and watch it, because after watching that video I was like, you know what? This is actually peak. The designs of the characters are ugly and weird, but I'm really starting to like them in a Dark Crystal, like Frank Oz weird way. Like, they're supposed to look kind of weird and fucky, but then I also think that the way that they're designed makes them a lot more expressive, and based on some of the cutscene things that we've seen, like there's a bit where Fox is like shouting at is it Pepper? What's the fucking
General Pepper? Yeah,
General Pepper. Yeah, he's shouting at him or something like that. Like, I'm not expecting to have to wipe tears away at some of these cutscenes, but I think if they're gonna go in a bit of like a more sort of not adult way, but they're gonna they're adding all these cutscenes, adding all this extra lore. I think these character models are more expressive than the sort of standard cartoon things. Like, if you look at the design of Fox in Smash Brothers, things like that, like, without saying anything, you know what his character is in terms of, like, he's got like this smirk and like his brow and things like that. Whereas I think the way that they design these lends itself more to actually being able to tell a better story and having them emote better. I also look at one of the designers, I think, said that this is in the same way that Miyamoto said about Breath of the Wild being his realization of the original Zelda game. One of the designers, I think, said this is what they wanted it to look like when they originally made Star Fox 64, and obviously it could just be a little PR job, but looking at the puppet adverts, like the Japanese puppet adverts for the original Star Fox on SNES, they actually do look quite similar, and they look kind of freaky and weird.
They do.
So I'm vibing with it, to be honest. I'm looking forward to jumping in. I've been going back. I've been playing the original Star Fox, and I've been playing Star Fox 2 on NSO. They're all available. Obviously, Star Fox 64 is on there as well. But I'm hyped for this. I think price-wise as well, I think it's $41.99. You can get it. I think you can get it for $36 on Very at the moment. So good little deal. Bunsen burner, nice little learner. Obviously, it'd probably take you about 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 hours to beat.
Yeah.
Let's see how that online mode fares as well. And are you going to be foxifying yourself with the old Piranha Plant 720p camera? That's what I'm actually recording off now. But you can tell by the quality. But which character would you want to assume the identity of? Are you a Slippy guy? Are you a Foxy guy?
I've always been a Falco. Always been a Falco. He's been my boy. He was my boy in Smash. But the design, I think, looks gross and off-putting. And I saw the thing as well that one of the reasons someone thought that the designs have been more anthropomorphized or sort of made to fit in with the human-like features is because of the game chat feature, where players do take on the face of Fox and Falco and that. And I'm personally gonna push back and say I think they look less expressive because of that, whereas I think he looks much more expressive in the Mario Galaxy movie. But
yeah,
I don't know. I need to see more, but it hasn't dampened my excitement. I just I do wish it a little bit better. But again, the vistas, the R-wings, the space stuff looks cracking. I just now we've got this out of the way, and it will sell 2 million copies or whatever. now do a new one. Do something exciting. Make it a roguelike. Obviously, this is the one Nintendo franchise that obviously should be a roguelike.
That's a shout, that. Could that not be a mode in this, though? Little DLC job?
Maybe, like Splatoon 3 with the side order, where they do a little roguelike stuff on the side.
Or it could be one of the built-in challenge. I guess it wouldn't really work like that, but it could be one of the built-in challenges of, like the little challenges that they've got. Or like you've got, we just saw, I'm not going to touch on this too much, but the DK challenge thing that they announced as well, that's like dipping their toes in the water of achievements, which a lot of people want. So they could do something like that with it. But yeah, roguelike does make a lot of sense. I guess 100%. I didn't even know this, but Star Fox 2 is kind of a roguelike in a way, because the way that it assigns Andros and like Star Fox team, the different planets and things like that, it adjusts it every single time. So I guess that's kind of roguelike in a sense. If you can hear the creaky door, by the way, that's not it's not a horror sort of ASMR effect that I'm adding to the pod. It's actually my cat trying to get out into the hall.
Okay, nice, no worries.
I can't remember what I was saying. Sorry, I completely derailed that then.
Well, let's talk about a different game.
Let's talk about a different game.
What was your favourite thing?
It's got to be Zelda. I think we can finish on Zelda. I want to give a quick shout out to Observer Redux from Bloober Team. I think that's a great game. I'm a big Blade Runner fan. That's a survival horror Blade Runner inspired game with Rutger Hauer as the main character. I played that on, I think I reviewed that actually on Switch 1. It's a bit of a rough port on Switch 1, but it pulled through and it was still playable. This version looks like the actual good game, and it looks really good like the PC version did. So if that sounds up your street, I'd check that out. It's on sale for $27 on eShop right now as well. Also want to quickly touch on Rayman Legends Retold. I think that's a really good deal. It's £35 on Amazon. Such a shame that it's not fully on the cartridge. It's a key card because they've included like lithographs and all that with the full physical version. But
and it comes with Rayman Origins Remastered as well. Exactly.
And I remember Rayman Legends when it came out on the Wii U, originally supposed to be an exclusive, blah wasn't. I think that was a better game, a better platformer than New Super Mario Bros. U. Both great games, but that was a much better platformer.
100%.
Yeah.
It was probably the best platformer of that decade.
Probably, yeah. I'm trying to think. 2010 to 2020? Don't know. There's a lot of games that came out in that decade.
There was, but Rayman Legends is absolutely elite. It's such a good game, and I'm sure if I thought about it, there's something I'd say is better.
Yeah. Crash Bandicoot. It's about time. When did that come out?
Yeah,
probably 2021, wasn't it? 2020.
To be fair, Odyssey's 2017. Best 2D platformer of that decade. Best 2D platformer.
Valid. I'll allow that.
But this is another one as well where. So Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends are not that old. Origins was a Wii game.
2009 and 2014, I want to say.
That's it, exactly. And Rayman Legends, especially of those two, had a very cartoony, very animated visual style that if you play now in any of the HD versions, personally, I would say is perfect. I don't think that needs anything. I don't know why they're remaking this game other than to make money. I've heard it rumored that they are using this as sort of a way to gauge interest in another Rayman game and whether they're going to go ahead with a Rayman 4 or use that team to make another 2D Rayman. I don't respect this whole like, well, if you buy the remake, we'll make a new one tactic.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Just make a good game.
Well, I saw a lot of stuff like that online, and I'm like, no. I mean, if you want to buy it, buy it. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. Like, don't be beholden to that. But at the same time, like, because I'm looking at this when it announced, I'm like, I loved Rayman Legends. I haven't played Rayman Legends since it came out on the Wii U, so it's been over 10 years. More than up for it. I think that the art style is perfect, like you say, but I also think it's not the same as the new Super Mario Brothers thing, because it's more unique, whereas that's kind of just like a generalized thing. But I think in the same way, potentially, like, they want to move away from that distinctive style of those two games and make it into more of like a sort of, it kind of looks more like what Rayman looks like in Rayman 3 and Rayman 2, make it more of like a generalized style, so that if they do end up going with these new games, they can do that as well. And also, I think that this sort of style will appeal to more people as well, which is obviously, a moneymaker. And it's got an MC Hammer, Can't Touch This musical stage. I mean, the Black Betty music stage was, that went triple platinum on the Wii U gamepad. So I can't wait for this one. I don't want to take up any of your time, listener, or your time, Nathan. I obviously want to speak about Zelda, but is there anything else that you want to touch on that you liked? What was your general? Give me your general score on the Direct.
I don't think it was a good one. I don't think this was the Direct Nintendo needed. I think this was dependent on ports and sort of updates when what Nintendo Switch needs right now. We're a year into this console, and I'm not one of these people who's like, we need to have a Mario, we need to have a Zelda. No, you can have a launch without these other things. But I think outside of Donkey Kong and Pokemon and Pokopia, the Switch 2 has had a lackluster first year, especially with titles like Mario Kart World not hitting in the way that they were sort of envisaged. Where's Mario Kart World DLC, by the way? Insane.
I was going to say, the fact that there's no DLC for that's absolutely diabolical, in my opinion. They've got the online events happening when you go onto the Nintendo Online thing, but the fall off of that game has to be studied. I mean, at least for me, I'm someone who, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Mario Kart 8 is the perfect game. I think Mario Kart World is good, but the only good addition, the free roam thing is just boring in my opinion. The knockout derby, the knockout rally thing was a really fun addition.
Love knockout.
Toy Story Racer did it fucking 20 years ago, mate, and that's coming to Switch in October as well. Thank you, Atari, for that delicious pack. But I'm the same. I'm looking back on it. I'm looking at RuneScape popping up. The fact that there's RuneScape showing up in a Nintendo Direct on Unreal. I think the actual games, there's a lot in there, like we said at the top. Yeah. But I just think the presentation of it, especially compared to some of the other stuff, is just a bit.
I think it's one of the things that Nintendo has to reckon with nowadays is because they are this huge company, and Pokemon has this issue as well. People are rabid for leaks in a way that they aren't with PlayStation and Xbox, or maybe they are to a lesser degree. Whereas with PlayStation and Xbox, people are like, "Oh, cool, they're working on a new Uncharted or whatever." Yeah, of course they are. We know that. People are like breaking into people's homes in Japan. People are like kidnapping someone's cat to find the password to figure out if what the evolution is of a Pokemon 4 years ahead of time. They must have to deal with so many leaks. So we had this Ocarina of Time remake sort of spoiled for us from prolific leaker Nate the Hate, and that's not Nintendo's fault. But what is Nintendo's fault is a lack of other surprises to bolster this. And look, ports are wonderful, but I don't take a port as a surprise. I take that as an expectation that you are meeting the market needs, that you are looking at the current gaming climate and going, we have a device that can match those. And it's also just, Metaphor is great. It came out a year ago. Kingdom Hearts 4, that hasn't come out yet. That's wonderful. Kingdom Hearts, the other games,
day and date, that's valid. Day and date's valid. And for them to get the reveal, I think that's valid. But I think as well, it's one. Obviously, if you're a one console person, happy ding dang days. But for the past 5 years, every time you see a third party game on Switch, you're like, oh, that looks really good. I'm going to go and get it for £30 cheaper on Steam and play it on Steam Deck, and it'll run in better quality. I don't think that's the case anymore with Switch 2, because you can look at any of these ports that come in and go, this is going to run well and nicely on the Switch 2, which is a good thing. So it's not. I don't think it's exactly the same, but I know what you mean in terms of people looking for those first party heavy hitters, aren't they?
I'm super pumped. Dragon's Dogma 2 on Switch, that is going to slap. Yeah. The other day we had Monster Hunter Wilds and things like that. There's so many ports here, which I'm really, really excited. But this, to me, it needed, because even the announcement of Ocarina of Time, I know we'll get onto it, was underwhelming. I was whelmed.
But if that wasn't leaked, do you think you would have been? I still think that the
trailer itself was bad.
If it was 2027, it would have been fine. But it's if it's coming out this year, obviously what we're doing is, let's just go into Zelda, shall we? Let's just finish. Yeah, let's talk about the top dog, because I saw the message that you put in on WhatsApp, and I thought that was, I was laughing at that, because I feel like I've been doing some Nintendo hating recently, but it's, we're always harshest to the ones we love. But I must admit, at least selfishly, it's refreshing to see some. I don't know if I would describe it as vitriol, but to see some criticism coming from someone other than myself. So you weren't big on it.
It wasn't vitriol. It wasn't vitriol.
No, I retract that. You're not a vitriolic person. You're a passionate gamer, and it wasn't a vitriolic statement. I retract that for the listeners at home.
When it comes to video game franchises, for me, it's Pokemon first, then it's Zelda. I was so excited about Zelda today. I won my Zelda T-shirt. Like I was pumped, and the thing that upset me about this Ocarina of Time reveal, obviously the fact it was short was a little bit annoying, but I can deal with the short teaser because we know we're going to get more. Maybe we're going to get a 40th anniversary direct later on this year. But what I didn't like, and the point I was making, was that this Ocarina of Time reveal showed a sort of Hire This Man-esque visual style, which looks like an Unreal Engine demo, and it looked bland, it looked homogenized, it looked sort of sawn off, it looked like some 15-year-old kid in Blender made over the weekend, and that's not what Zelda is. Zelda is distinct visual styles. There's bold character choices when it comes to their design. It's like gnarled people and gross areas, and you think of Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, all of these things. Whether it was worked for you or it didn't, they make these bold choices. Look at like the painterly style of Skyward Sword. Like Zelda is such a visually distinct series, and that Ocarina of Time remake, I'm so excited for it. I will play it day one. It doesn't matter how much it costs or how much I'm hating. I'll buy whatever stupid collector's edition they bring out. And obviously the finished product is going to have wide open areas, and we're going to see so many things that look good. But that one snippet did not give me confidence that this isn't a sort of a smaller or more refined version of Zelda, because the movie is coming out next year, and this is baby's first Zelda. This is teaching people, this is what the iconography of Zelda is. It's this little dude in a green hat, and he's going to be in this forest, and he's going to pick up a sword. So next year, when they're trying to sell popcorn buckets, when they're trying to sell, Moo Moo milk flavored Oreos and whatever else, they can go. And also, this is the Zelda game, because this is what Zelda looks like. That's what I'm worried about.
Definitely valid. I think the Unreal thing, it's fun. It is funny that, and I do get it. I think it's a little bit harsh. I think that it looks like, to me, I think the identity thing, what you're saying is definitely. I can definitely see that, but I think, this is what fucking happens. You said that Zelda is a series that has bold visual styles. They're looking at Ocarina of Time and going, what are we going to do? Because, you could, in my perfect world, it would be the realization of the hand-drawn art from the original game in the manual and things like that. It would be that, which is essentially what the Grezzo games are on 3DS. But I don't think, I think there's only so far you can kind of go with that. I think that the way that it introduced the story with like the little musical stings and things like that gave me goosebumps. That was electric.
The tapestry as well, that looks gorgeous.
That looks great.
Really liked that.
But I think the way that they're presenting it, this might just be for the trailer, and obviously, I'm not exactly Zeltic, but I'm just from watching the trailer, it seems like they're going in like a story, like a fairy tale story kind of vibe with it. Maybe it's Cape Bora giving you the storybook kind of vibe as you're going through the game or something, which he kind of does anyway, doesn't he? But it looks almost like fairy tale-esque. And the other thing that I wonder as well is if it's got some sort of visual connection to the film. If the film's taking inspiration from the games, but then it's got its own sort of visual style, I wonder if that's kind of closer to Ocarina, because I think the film is going to be a version of Twilight Princess, or it's going to be a version of Ocarina of Time. I don't think it'll be a Breath of the Wild story. I think it's going to be like some level of amalgamation of like Ocarina with like Ganondorf. And so like I'm quite happy with it. I'm happy with the visuals. I'm waiting to see what more of it looks like, but I'm happy with what it looks like, to be honest. I think it looks alright. I
Yeah.
think it kind of looks almost Twilight Princess-y a bit, but just a little bit more sort of like Hobbity, I guess.
Mm,
So,
okay.
but there's not a massive amount to go on from it. I think for me the thing that's more interesting is because I mean Ocarina of Time is my favorite game. I think it holds up in my opinion. But I think if they just re-release this game that looks visually beautiful, it's got voice acting, it's got the orchestral soundtrack, I will be happy. But if it's literally just Ocarina of Time with the Z targeting and Navi and the same stuff, but visually improved, how's that going to look to the average person after Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom? I don't really know what that looks like. So then I'm thinking about what are they going to do in terms of modernising the gameplay, and is that going to affect the sanctity of the game? It's just like, it feels like it feels like the visual style is a very narrow tightrope to walk, and then also the gameplay is a very narrow tightrope to walk. So I don't know, but it's definitely exciting, isn't it?
You're right. Is this going to be sort of a Shadow of the Colossus style where this is the same game, but it looks incredible? Or are we talking about a Resident Evil style one where it's like, okay, this is pretty much the same game, and if you've played the original, you'll like it. But we went in, we made the controls work, they're just good now, and we also added some stuff that we planned and whatever. Like, it would be difficult to add in. You're right. Especially with the 3D Zelda game, it's difficult to imagine a game that isn't the Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom style, especially because that sort of open-ended freedom, that the verticality and all of that it feels so Zelda now because we've had over a decade of it. But yeah, maybe it's going to be interesting to see how people respond and fans respond to going back to a more static adventure if they're going with a strict adherence to the original style, which. Personally, I hope they don't. I hope we get a Resident Evil-esque sort of remake where maybe Link can't climb like he does in Breath of the Wild, but maybe the actual scale of Hyrule Field and the different areas is massive, and there's more to do, and there's maybe little mini dungeons in the world, like something like that, like a halfway house between something on the scale of Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild, but make that Ocarina of Time. Like, even you think of like the Great Plateau, like something like that sort of confined area, but times that by 2 or 3, and even that is a perfectly good game.
Yeah. I think Hyrule Field might have more verticality. Lon Lon Ranch. It is Lon Lon Ranch, isn't it? There's more hurdles to jump over. You can brush opponent's fucking mane with the Pro controller or the Joy-Con controller. Yeah. I think going back to a static formula will be fine. It's just, I think Super Mario Odyssey controls how you remember Super Mario 64 controlling. I think Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and all of the 3D Zeldas, additional gameplay mechanics aside from the two most recent ones, that controls how I remember Ocarina of Time controlling. So then if you have Ocarina of Time, you're gonna have to do something because it's hard. It would be hard not to compare it. So, but it's very exciting. I think, it would have been more exciting if we didn't know anything about it. But even so, I'm happy with the visual style. I'm just excited to see what comes next.
I tell you one thing I'm really interested to see about it, because you're right. The sort of the through line of control is one thing. I think this Link will feel a little bit closer to Breath of the Wild than or maybe Wind Waker. Wind Waker is probably a really good sort of in between. But if we have these same dungeons, do they do the same solutions? Because I can do those dungeons in my sleep. I run in now like the Terminator, like bish bash.
I don't think they're hard, do you?
No, but that's because we've played them, and
but I didn't think that. I didn't like. I remember, I mean, I'm not trying to profess to be some sort of like elite gamer, but I remember playing the Water Temple originally as a kid, and I was like, because in the 3DS version, it has like the additional color thing to help you with the levels and stuff. But I remember playing the N64 version, and like, I didn't have an issue with it, and I only found out that people really struggled with it later on. Obviously, stuff like that, I think there'll be more visual indicators and things like that. It's also whether or not are you going to have the Master Quest dungeons, or are the dungeons going to be reworked? I think it's similar to what you're saying, where it's going to be somewhere in between, where it'll be reworked slightly, but it will feel how you remember it feeling. The scale might be enhanced because, like you're just saying again, then you remember Hyrule Field feeling expansive, whereas now it's just tiny compared to what we've seen in the other games. So, but yeah.
I hope to be surprised by the dungeons, but also they feel like they should. And this is another area where the Resident Evil remakes, I think, are a really good example of, because I've played like the Resident Evil games so much, RE4 especially, and going through that remake. It's not exactly the same solution, so you still have that aha moment. But if you know the original, you're like, oh, I see what they did. That's the feeling I want to get from a reimagined Ocarina of Time dungeon.
Yeah, 100%. Nathan, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you again. It's been too long. I'm always, it's always a great time to sit and chat about Nintendo games, isn't it?
Thank you for having me.
You mentioned and touched on it earlier, but where can we all find you? You've got a lot of big things coming, like a lot of DJs. So you are also a DJ as well, so that's quite fitting. But you do actually have big things coming. To point us in the direction of some of them.
So if you want to follow my YouTube channel, you can go to youtube.com/culturedex. That is culture as in what culture, and DEX as in Pokedex. Though legally, we do not use any part of the Pokedex word. And if you want to find me online, you can find me at Nate and Destroy on the old Twitter, or Nathan Ellingsworth in all other places. But you can see my words. Generally, I'm popping up in Nintendo Life, GameSpot, IGN, all of these places, as well as making videos and chatting about Nintendo and Pokemon wherever people will let me.
Absolutely incredible. We'll link to some of the stuff that you've written post direct as well in the description, so everyone go and read those links, because we've not covered things extensively, but you just want to talk about what you want to talk about, don't you? And I think we've talked it through.
We didn't even talk about Switch Sports Resort, which I'm pumped for, and Dragon Quest Monsters and Dustbloods and genuine pop from me, Minecraft Switch 2 edition. I love Minecraft.
The shading update.
Yeah, but well, maybe another time.
Well, thank you very much for listening. If you've got this far, drop us your favourite Minecraft block below. I'd love to hear that. What's your favourite Minecraft block, Nathan? To end.
Ooh, can I say the lava blocks? I really like the design of the lava blocks.
You can. I'm not. I don't know if the listeners would lose or gain respect for you as a result of that. I wouldn't class it as a block personally. I mean, it is a block, but it's it's a liquid. But let's say
I'm talking about the ones that you get near the lava where it's coming through, so you know that if you knock it, lava's going to come out.
Infinite lava source. Oh, the little drippy thing.
Yeah, they've got like a little bit of lava coming through.
Excellent.
I like that design a lot.
Love it. I would say, I don't fucking know, dirt block. Old reliable. With the grass on the top, though.
Yeah, sick. I want that Lego set, I'm telling you.
Yeah. The crafting bench one's the best, I think. Or that creeper.
That's what I mean.
Legos. I was going to ask you about the Pokemon Lego, actually, but, I don't want to go for another fucking 45 minutes, so... Lego creeper set, 30 quid. Belter set, that. Deal of the day, mate.
Tempt him.
Happy Tuesday, or whenever you're listening to this. Have a lovely evening and have a lovely rest of your life if you never hear from me again, and enjoy your... Bye. Say goodbye, Nathan. Bye. How do I stop this?